Good evening. I'm Elita George, the president of the class of 2024, and I will be your master of ceremonies. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the commencement ceremony for the Masuk High School graduating class of 2024. At this time, will you all please stand as I welcome the class of 2024 MRA members Uvan Hospit, Killian Irish Donini, and Emma Kearney to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I ask that you please remain standing for the national anthem performed by the Masuk High School Choir.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
At this time, I would like to call upon Mr. David Ferris, Chairman, Board of Education, for his remarks to the graduates.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our graduation ceremony. On behalf of the Monroe Board of Education, we wish to congratulate every senior on their accomplishment of completing high school. Graduates, be proud of yourselves. Hard work does pay off. Never forget where you came from. Come back and visit. And no matter what your next steps are, we wish you all the best of luck. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to call to the podium our class salutatorian, Ms. Harni Gosaganda, to give her address.
Good evening, everyone. Today, as the graduating class of 2024 sits on the field, clad in our red and white gowns and eagerly awaiting our diplomas, I would like to take a moment to recognize the significance of this milestone and know that all our hard work and late nights have truly paid off. I want to take a moment to thank Representative Scott, First Selectman Rooney, Chairman Ferris and other Board of Education members, Superintendent Kobza, Principal Swenson, faculty of Masuk, and the family members and friends here to celebrate and support their loved ones. I would also like to give a special shout out to my akka, nana, amma, and friends who have made this past 4 years possible with their unwavering support and love. For reasons beyond my understanding, they have remained by my side despite my decidedly long rants throughout the years. And so I have to give them a quick warning, as I'm afraid to say that they will have to hear yet another one of my stories today. So if I wasn't standing up here on stage and we were just having a regular conversation, I might start off by asking you, so what do you think of that weather we're having today? How do you spend your free time? Or maybe I'd delve even deeper and I'd ask you, are you a morning person or a night owl? If any of these questions just gave you goosebumps, you may be one of the many people today who dislike small talk. Now I'm aware that for some, small talk, otherwise known as chit-chat or prattle, is sometimes seen as an unnecessary, uncomfortable, and unimportant human social convention. But although small talk is fairly repetitive in nature, I feel that it is often underappreciated for the role it plays in driving the deeper conversations that forge the connections we make throughout our lives. Ralph Waldo Emerson, who you may vaguely remember from English class, once said, "The best of life is conversation, and the greatest success is confidence, or a perfect understanding between sincere people." Now, I can confidently say that throughout my time here at Masuk, small talk allowed me to create this mutual understanding with my peers. I fondly remember first stepping into my freshman year gym class with my new mask and haircut, worried about sitting through an awkward period. But by the end of the year, I found myself walking around the track almost every period with my new classmates, discussing everything, from the mile run to the struggles they faced as American immigrants. There's a certain beauty in knowing that at the root of all our relationships lie these fleeting moments of humanity and shared thoughts. After all, these brief conversations with my friends comprised each and every one of my school days. We problem-solved in the lunch line about how to do our math homework, went on Dunkin' runs while debating our favorite movie trilogies and the best robotics build strategies, and sat in the senior lot, questioning how the next 4 years of our lives would go. Meanwhile, in classes, quick chats with teachers provided an interesting insight into the faculty that enriches the Masuk community and brings a joy to learning. I learned that Miss Carino, like me, holds a deep appreciation for Panera's Mediterranean veggie sandwich, and that Mr. McKee shares a love of Matt Damon with most of the human population. There is no doubt that for me, small talk has been a sweet relief from the long hours of studying and working that have inevitably consumed our time throughout high school. But more significantly, these conversations taught me the importance of reaching out to others and forming these connections of support that have shaped the way I make decisions, attack problems, and build relationships. As we embark on our respective paths, small talk will undoubtedly weave its way into the daily mechanics of our lives. I ask you to consider, what are the questions you will ask? Maybe after an especially long lecture, you will inquire about the Freddie Mercury poster on the wall of your future professor's classroom. Or perhaps in a job interview, after a brief discussion of your interests, you discover that you and your future boss share a love of cross-country hiking. Whatever the topics may be, and whomever they are with, I encourage you to engage. Engage in the little interactions that compose these small yet influential moments of your life. For it is the power of the conversations of the past, present, and future that will shape the decisions we make and the people we become. Today, as we close this chapter of our lives and take our first steps into the unknown, I know that we will relish forming and maintaining the new connections that allow us to pursue our future dreams with passion, resilience, and determination. Congratulations to the graduating class of 2024, and thank you for listening to my small talk.
At this time, I would like to call to the podium our class valedictorian, Mr. Braden Renkovinsky, to give his address.
Good evening, students, faculty, and parents. As you might know, I tend to go overboard and overtime on speeches like this, but I'll try to be quick out of respect for my fellow speakers and your dinner reservations. As I stand before you today, I am filled with gratitude and would like to express my deepest thanks to the entire Masuk High School staff and all the parents whose support has brought us to this moment. To my friends and family, Mom, Dad, Uncle Kevin, Richard, Butch, Betty, Jisoo, and my beloved grandparents, thank you for everything. I love you. It's hard to believe that we started our journey here at Masuk just 4 short years ago. As you've heard time after time, our high school experience was far from the standard. We may have started online together, hearing the ear-deafening reverberations of Mrs. Gallagher's Ocean Waves, or Mrs. Sheevy's mandatory online learning to juggle over Google Meets, but still, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Those early quirks in our learning experience set us down the path of who we are today and who we will be in the future. From that, I implore you to ask, why should there be a normal? If I've learned anything during my years here, it is to embrace the abnormal this world has to offer. Just look at me. For many of you, I was Thai Kid long before you knew my name. Was it weird by conventional standards? Yes, incredibly. But it made me happy. Something as small as a tie can add spice to life. Even on the most monotonous of days, I've lost count of the times I've been asked if I'm the substitute teacher for a class. Even though it might have been uncomfortable at the time to say, no, I'm 16, thinking about it now, those moments were some of my most memorable. Perhaps my only regret is not playing into it further. I'm sorry, Mr. Swenson, but would it not have been the story of a lifetime if I had said, yes, I am the sub, and began teaching the class? Those perfect little instances of lunacy instead of normalcy sprouted the moments we will cherish for the rest of our lives. I encourage you to become your own version of Thai Kid, whatever your heart desires. I promise the world around you will suddenly become much more interesting. No matter what, in the end, you can look back and, to quote the movie Good Will Hunting, say, hey, at least I wasn't unoriginal. On the note of originality, much to the chagrin of the Masuk staff who wanted a normal graduation, whatever that means, I'd like to do something that has never been done before in Masuk's 65-year history: perform a chemistry experiment during graduation. I only prepared enough for one attempt at this. If any of you among us are part of Chem Club, you might remember we don't have the best track record, so please cross your fingers this works. All right, I would like everyone to direct your eyes over to my friends, my helpful lab assistants over there. Guys, please wave your hands. Lab assistants, yes, all right, there. And also, if the cameras could direct over there, that would be great, to that table. Does everyone see them? Yes, are we good? All right, I would like everyone to join me in counting down from 3, and on 1, they'll perform the experiment. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. As my time with you rapidly ends, I'd like to leave you, the Masuk class of 2024, with a short closing statement. A quote by Friedrich Nietzsche: "No one can construct for you the bridge upon which you must cross the stream of life. No one but you alone." It's hard to believe these are the final words I will ever share with most of you, but to quote my doppelganger, young Sheldon, go nuts, embrace being weird, use a number 1 pencil, the sky's the limit. Good luck, everyone. Let the winds of success always be under thy wings.
At this time, I would like to call upon the Masuk Concert Choir, under the direction of Miss Margaret Shavs, to the front. The choir will be singing Landside by Stevie Nicks, accompanied by Jeremiah Purdy.
took my love and I took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hill where a landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, children get older, and I'm getting older too. And I'm getting older too. So take this love and take it down. Yeah, if you climb a mountain and you turn around, and if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills where a landslide brought me down, and if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, maybe, well, maybe, well, maybe the landslide can bring you down.
At this time, I would like to call to the podium Miss Sienna Callahan, who was selected to give the graduate address.
Good evening. I'm Sienna Callahan. I want to briefly thank all of my friends, teachers, and most importantly, my family for supporting me throughout these years. And I know some of my family must be confused because I didn't tell them that I was doing this. While I may not be the valedictorian or anything fancy, I do have one thing I want you to remember. Everything happens for a reason. Usually, when people think of the statement, everything happens for a reason, they may think of fate. However, I find that it's the choices that you make that allows your destiny to fall into place, not just fate. It is those choices and opportunities that create your path, and each of them is given to you for a reason. Now here is some great news. Life will always provide you with opportunities. What is important is that you see these opportunities as possibilities, and that you act on them when you feel that it is the right thing for you. Think of all the choices you've made throughout these last 4 years. I bet you can think of one choice that altered what you thought would be your high school experience. A few from my own life come to mind. No offense, Mrs. Carino. I initially went to the DECA State competition for a day off of school. Little did I know, I would actually place and compete internationally that same year and discover that I wanted to work in finance. There was also the time I passed the orchestra room on my way to gym class and thought, hey, they sound pretty good. Why did I ever stop playing in the first place? I rejoined orchestra that very next week. And finally, I think of sophomore year, when I originally wanted to major in pre-med. However, when we got to the moles unit in chemistry, I discovered that it was clearly not my thing. I am sorry for those tests you had grade, Mrs. Nyquist. I really did try my best. Now, this isn't to say that you should depend openly on life's wind to carry you through it. There will always be something in the way, but it is the risk that you have to grab at when you have that gut feeling to take it. So what if it doesn't go as planned? It was meant to be that way. Now, on to the next challenge, the next choice to make. And I promise that you will find those beautifully ironic moments where your purpose just clicks, because life is meant to be full of choices. And I know that you will choose the right ones, because no matter where you end up, everything happened for a reason. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to call on the class of 2024 class president, Ellie DeGeorge, to give her remarks to the class and present the class gift.
Thank you, Mr. Swenson, and thank you to the students, teachers, parents, and staff who made these 4 years everything that they were. It's my honor to stand before you today, as it has been my privilege to serve as the class president of this incredible student body for the last 4 years. While our time at Masuk went by in the blink of an eye, filled with friends, classes, teachers, and work, I'm hoping we all had some inspirational moments that we will take with us. In those moments, we may have been too busy, too distracted, or too young to notice them for what they were. Now, as we take a look back at our high school years, I hope we can all see them clearly for what they were. So, I would like to highlight 3 important lessons and my memories associated with them. As I share my memories, I invite you to think back about personal moments in your high school career that serve as lessons to help drive your success in the future. Lesson 1, embrace the future. It's coming whether you like it or not. I remember freshman year in Mr. Horvath's English class, he would make us write what he called an occasional paper, or an OP. Essentially, the OP was a short paper you reported to the class about an event in your life in which you realized something. I remember I wrote my OP on how I realized that, unlike the rest of my peers, I had no desire to grow up. I was petrified of the unknown, and while others anxiously awaited to leave our small town and go to college far away, I didn't. Years later, my friends still tease me because, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna mention my favorite artist, Taylor Swift. They knew that me hearing just the first chord of the song, Never Grow Up, would send me into tears. In this song, Swift reflects on her childhood and pleads to stop growing up. What scared me the most about growing up was the fear I would forget the memories I've made. Yet, standing here today, I can confidently say the memories we created together will give me the strength to embrace the future, wherever it takes me, as I hope your memories will do for you. Lesson 2, wear the bright green pants. Mr. Townsend, you knew this was coming. For any of you that don't know, I proudly own a pair of bright green pants that I would wear quite frequently during my junior year. I also happened to be in Mr. Townsend's A-Push class that year. Without fail, every time he saw my bright green pants, I would get an eye roll or some snarky comment about how I'd wear these pants for attention. It wasn't just Mr. Townsend who joked with me, it was my friends too. But the fact of the matter is, I just liked the pants, and I didn't really care what anyone else thought. I wore these pants for myself and how they made me feel. Why am I telling you this? Well, I'm guessing some or all of you had or will have your own bright green pants, something that may be unique to you, some sort of interest or way to express yourself, something that you just like. My lesson to share is to embrace your green pants. Do what makes you happy, whether it be something big or small. Do not let others' words, judgments, or opinions sway you. In the simplest terms, just be you. In the future, Do what makes you happy. That will be the key to your success and growth. Like Taylor Swift once said, I want to be defined by the things I love. So go out and wear those bright green pants. Lesson 3, LANK, which stands for Let All Naysayers Know. This past year, the girls' varsity lacrosse season had one mantra that we said every practice before a big game, and that was LANK. From the start of the season, we were never expected to win, and it was known that our opponents thought we would choke. There was even an article saying we wouldn't make it past semifinals. I'm sure each of us have had a moment in our high school career where our abilities, our commitment, our talent, our intellect, our whatever was doubted. That won't be the last time your capabilities are challenged. So it is up to you to LANK. Let all naysayers know just what you're capable of. And that's exactly what we did. And now we are state champions, delivering Masuk its first girls lacrosse state title. In the next chapter of your life, you may be told you're not good enough for that internship, that spot on the team, not cool enough for that sorority or fraternity, not talented enough for that lead role. Whatever the situation may be, I say, just LANK. Thank you for letting me share my personal, inspirational moments. And while you may not remember my words exactly, I hope, like me, you hold on to the memories you've made over these past 4 years and the lessons you've gained from them. Congratulations, Masuk Class of 2024, and best of luck to you from each day forward and whatever memories you make from this day. Thank you. As the Class of 2024 gift to Masuk, we have decided to donate some of our remaining funds to next year's Spring Fling, and we will also be setting up a scholarship to be awarded to upcoming graduates. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Steven Swenson, principal of Masuk High School, to the podium.
Thank you, Ellie. Representative Scott, Chairman Ferris, Board of Education members, Superintendent Kabza, Assistant Superintendent Casanelli, First Selectman Rooney, my fellow Monroe administrators, members of the faculty and staff of Masuk, parents, and guests. Thank you for being here to celebrate these outstanding students and acknowledge their perseverance, which culminates today with their graduation from high school. I would like to express my sincere gratitude for all of the support, understanding, and flexibility through yet another year of unique challenges. At this time, I'd like to recognize those members of the class of 2024 who have made the decision to devote themselves to this country through service. Would Melissa Da Silva, Haley Ferris, Aaron Silva, and Matthew Zeppieri please stand and be recognized. Aaron will be joining the Army National Guard. Haley will be joining the Air Force Reserves, and Melissa and Matthew have both enlisted with the United States Marines. Thank you. And now to you, the class of 2024. Let me begin by expressing my sincere thanks to you for your flexibility and perseverance over the last 4 years. You see, I started Masuk High School just 11 days before you did, knowing even less than you did about what it was going to be like. And we grew up together over the last 4 years. In those 11 days before you came, I was living some of the same feelings you were most likely experiencing, wondering, what would it be like? Will anyone like me? Who will be my friends? How am I going to do this? In the days before you came, I met my fellow administrators, staff, and did the usual, schedule meetings under a tent in the parking lot or on Zoom. allowing parents and staff to meet the new principal, all while wondering if anyone would even come or log on or turn on the cameras. Fresh Fest for you was done in 5 different groups, and your high school career began in cohorts. In our first year together, we spent more time discussing masks, wipes, shields, mask breaks, contact tracing, saying, please turn on your camera, or you're on mute. You're still on mute. Rather than focusing solely on reading, writing, and arithmetic. And then just before Thanksgiving, we went home for full remote learning. This lasted through January 10th, when we were able to return to in-person learning the next day. Once again, we were discussing how to properly wear a mask more often than how to successfully navigate course content. Finishing the year with the usual, vaccine clinics, cohorted learning groups, and remote Wednesdays. I don't know about you, but that seems a lifetime ago. Yet here we are, just 3 years removed from it, but you were flexible and persevered through it all. Going into your sophomore year, I, for one, was very optimistic that things could return to normal. But what would that new normal look like? We were no longer cohorted, and we maintained in-person learning, but were masked through February. Funny thing is, when it was finally decided that we didn't have to wear masks in school, if you rode the bus, well, you still had to wear one. We also added flex to the schedule that year, saw sports return to full competition, saw the return of social events such as Latin Night, the bonfire, and the inaugural cultural fair, celebrating the diversity of student population at Masuk. This is something that your class leaves as part of its legacy to the school. We also saw the return of final exams, something I'm sure you're not happy about. But again, no matter what came your way, you were flexible and persevered through it all. By the time your junior year came around, COVID was more or less in our rearview mirror, but the wake of its impact will truly never be measured. This was the year that things did return to what many of us considered to be the pre-pandemic normal. Once again, there was homecoming, the bonfire, pep rallies, and the class of 2023 worked with staff to bring back both the homecoming dance and the spring fling. We also saw the return of midterm exams, and the prom was at Waterview, not under a tent. And Masuk won 3 state championships, 2 on the day after school ended. Once again, you adapted to the new normal, demonstrating your flexibility and perseverance. And then there was this year, your senior year, filled with excitement and energy for finishing out your high school years and making the most of your opportunities. The senior barbecue, homecoming, and the like were now accompanied by this. This is the last time I will be able to here at Masuk. What seemed like a lifetime was now coming down to a few months, days, hours, and now you're just minutes away from receiving your diploma. But you know what? I'm here to tell you, with everything that you have endured over the last 4 years, I can tell you with confidence, you will be just fine. For you have learned how to take things in stride, have developed into flexible individuals, you have endured 4 years of my Masuk minutes, and you have the wherewithal to persevere through any of life's challenges that come your way. You have grown up, class of 2024, and you will always have a special place in my heart as my first graduating class. Now go and make us all proud. Mr. Kabza, I attest that the members of the class of 2024 receiving diplomas have met or exceeded the graduation requirements as established by the state of Connecticut and the Monroe Board of Education. It is my pleasure to present them to you this evening, and at this time, I'd like to call you to the podium for the presentation of the class of 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Swenson. Chairman Ferris, members of the Monroe Board of Education, First Selectman Rooney, State Representative Scott, Mrs. Casanelli, Mr. Swenson, my fellow Monroe administrators, members of the faculty, parents, guests, and members of the Masuk High School graduating class of 2024. It's an honor for me to be here tonight to celebrate with you. I want to share some headlines that appeared in the newspaper over 2 days in the last week. I imagine you could look through today's paper and find similarly themed articles. Man gets 2 years for money laundering. Bodies found in burning car in Oxford identified, one with an apparent gunshot wound. Man charged with theft from Seymour once charges dropped. Man gets 2 years in prison for bank fraud scheme. What happened before and after a New Haven man was killed in a Bridgeport jail. I guess we must resign ourselves to the fact that we live in a cruel world. What hope is there for mankind? Maybe Thomas Hobbes was right all along. I hope you remember Thomas Hobbes from your 9th grade world history class when you studied the Enlightenment. Hobbes was an English philosopher with a pessimistic view of humankind. In fact, he advocated for rule by a sovereign, perhaps a monarch, a king or a queen. Because left to our own devices, humans are, in his words, nasty, short, and brutish. How sad. We're horrible. There's no hope for us. Or is there? I recently came across Rutger Bregman's book, Humankind, A Hopeful History, and it had a very different outlook on us Homo sapiens. Bregman's thesis is simple, that most people, deep down, are pretty decent. Early in the book, Bregman describes a real Lord of the Flies situation. Again, I'll take you down memory lane. You should remember William Golding's 1954 novel from your 9th grade literature and composition class. For those who don't remember, Lord of the Flies is about a plane that goes down on a deserted island, leaving a bunch of English schoolboys to their own devices. After attempts to make their own little government and establish order, the island falls into complete chaos, with 3 of the boys being killed before they're eventually rescued. Clearly a dystopian view of mankind. However, after some extensive research, Bregman found a true story from 1966 that paralleled these events, with a group of boys being stranded on a deserted island in the South Pacific. They were eventually rescued by a boat captain over a year later. However, their experience was much different than the cruelty and torture that was depicted in Lord of the Flies. Summarizing from Bregman, far from descending into savagery and turning on each other, the boys built a hut, hollowed out tree trunks to store rainwater, cultivated a food garden, constructed chicken pens in a small gymnasium, and after many attempts, produced a spark, started a fire, and tended the flame for their entire time on the island. Working in 2-person teams, the boys took turn cultivating the garden, cooking food, standing guard, and keeping a lookout for passing ships. They settled disputes by sending antagonists to opposite end of the island until they calmed down and were willing to apologize. This author and I believe that there is a lot more good in the world than we may realize. And I actually should give the newspapers a little break here. Those headlines exist because they are news, because they are out of the norm. You see, the norm is that deep down, humans are good people who want to cooperate and work towards a common good. I'd still like to see a few more positive stories being showcased, like passerby stops to help stranded motorists. Or how about this one? Masuk graduating class of 2024 performs more than 17,000 hours of service back to their community. Bregman's book, Humankind, has 400 pages full of historical and current examples proving that our human nature is designed to help, support, and love one another. On every continent, throughout every time period, people have survived and thrived due to kindness, not because of cruelty. Class of 2024, as you move into adulthood, remember that you are hardwired for empathy and compassion. Embrace those genetics, making choices to see through another's perspective. Improve your corner of the world and recognize the humanity in everyone you meet. Chairman Ferris, I attest that these members of the class of 2024 receiving diplomas tonight have met or exceeded the graduation requirements established by the state of Connecticut and the Monroe Board of Education. It is my pleasure to present them this evening.
At this time, we will have the conferring of the diplomas to the graduates. Grand Marshal, please take your position.
Braden Regavinsky. Harney Gosakunda. Elizabeth Lacey DeGeorge. Anish Sharma. Jamie Meadow Lawrence. Eric Braden Unger. Benjamin David Londano. Sawyer Preston Carlson. Sienna Grace Callahan. Bhuvan Hospit. Killian David Irish Donini. Emma Catherine Kearney. Josebe Aha. Aiden Joseph Alexander. Colin Alexander. Jessica Joy Adahajaman. Kenneth David Aubrey. Alexander Walter Beloblowski. Olivia Rita Beloblowski. Luke Anthony Benway. Vincent Benetti. Miley Lorraine Booth. Elizabeth McPherson Brakeman. Emerson Grace Broderick. Cameron Lindsay Brown. Lee Stephen Brownbill II. Alexander N. Butler. Isabella Caggiano. Leah Jules Callison. Lily Eve Cameron. Sean Patrick Camerano. Emma Rose Campbell. Amanda Rose Carroll. Luke Michael Carroll. Lucas Mateo Cartagena. Hunter James Caulfield. Jason Bernard Champagne. Lauren Nitya Chipty. Sophia Clark. Ashley Kohlberg. Jack David Canetta. Sarah Elizabeth Canetta. Gianna Convertito. Owen Correll. Sarah Crespo. Jack Cross. Daniel Joseph Curtin. Emma Kusa. Emma Jane Cusano. James Martin Seibert. Ethan Kevin Delia. Isaac Brian De Silva. Melissa Ferreira De Silva. Zoe Noel Dalton. Erin Marie Davis. Buba Tyrone Diaby. Michael Nicholas DiMatteo. Luke David Dolio. Matthew Dante Dominichelli. Hannah May Dorney. Lindsay Alice Dubois. Christopher Dunn. James Tobias Dutkowski. Kaylee Edgar. Mason Edwards. Marissa Marie Eichler. Tim Mead Elder. Kenzie El Taib. Luke George Eschert. Noah Zygmunt Everlith. Connor Joseph Ewald. Hannah Michelle Fagan. Carson Falcone. Cadence Mia Fideli. Justin Anthony Feinstein. Kirsten Nicole Fennelly. Sienna Sophia Ferguson. Haley Rose Ferris. Alexis Ray Figueredo. Danny Joseph Florin. Grace Elizabeth Foley. Aiden Funk. Julie Forno. Christian Fox. Colin Francisco. Braden James Freight. Gavin Nicholas Gabriel. Jonathan Luke Ganino. Colin Dean Garamella. Olivia Grace Garrity. Matthew Peter Gasparini. Anisha Guerra. Anthony Giordano. Brian Giordano. Gwyneth Juno. Christian John Joka. Carmine Christopher Gomes. Sophia Elizabeth Gonsalves. Mia Dionise Gonzalez. Virginia Taylor Grabowski. Elise Margaret Graham. Natalia Dominica Greco. Chloe Elizabeth Green. Andrew Christopher Guerrera. Keller James Hall. Amaya Raylene Hamilton. Isabella Grace Hanley. Madison Hawney. Eli Miles Hayden. Logan Ryan Hayden. Daniel Philip Heinrich. Samantha Henry. Moises Isaiah Hernandez Reyes. Moises Isaac Hernandez Reyes. Alexandra Maria Hernandez. Crystal Joanna Hernandez Reyes. Aiden David Hobson. Isabella Grace Holsworth. Colin Mark Hope. Milena Patricia Hornack. Emily Taylor Hull. Nora Blythe Hurley. Vibhuti Johnny. Liam Kelly. Fariha Fatima Khan. Emma Kilcullen. Angela Marie King. Dylan Kipp. Robert Justin Klein. Maurice Adriana Clutch. Nicholas James Kundub. Jaden Kreiner. Victoria Krinsky. Jordan Maya Kumar. Joanna Curdy. Maxwell Joseph LaRoche. Maylin Francis Lau. Audrey Michelle Lesko. Natalie Christina Lito. Jordan Samuel Lynn. Caitlin Mary Luff. Yao Mai. Cecilia Evangelina McIntyre. Mackenzie Reagan Magus. Alexander Guillermo Malecki. Jaden Carlo Mirage. Brierly Marrero. Ava Claire Mattingly. Julissa Rosemary Mahan. Catherine Alexa McCaffrey. Matthew McClout. Abby Shannon McFarland. Quinn Aubrey McGuire. Matthew Anthony Mia. Brandon Mays. Melissa Meckow. Safa Mayman. Aisha Zara Mert. Trey Miguelaris. Alexis Matrakis. Jose Tejera Moraes. Mia Grace Morelli. Jack Robert Morrow. Kamai Moxham. Amelia Munoz Contreras. Casper Mark Brzezinski. Samantha Norco. Chloe Kendall Norton. Tolu Olotinwo. Logan Orlando. Christian John Pack. Lila Catherine Pagel. Ethan Joseph Palma. Ethan E. Palmich. Christian Antimo Palmieri. Grace Francesca Palumbo. Ali Ray Panella. Varshal Patel. Elijah Guy Pellino. Aaron Persico. Sydney Pita. Trent Michael Pearson. Michael Scott Petro. Jasper Brendan Pike. Tristan Adrian Pike. Phineas Damian Pinkney. Isabella Pinto. Kyle Pinto. Jackson Douglas Planker. Eamon Quinn. Andrew Radu. Jackson Thomas Rader. Dylan Luca Rakauskas. Emerson Abasai Ramos. Tiana Ray. Aoife Claire Reardon. Logan John Rodas. Jomar Xavier Rodriguez. Santiago Xavier Rodriguez. Kendall Grace Rolifson. Augustino Roma Jr. Andrew Gerald Ronahan. Gabriella Rookison. Malachi Roy. Andrea Rusu. Manav Sanapanavar. Amory Margaret Santos. Zoe Grace Santos. Arvin Sarma. Ashwin Sarma. Malachi Sawyer. Prisha Saxena. Cody Allen Schulke. Joshua Ernest Sinto. Samiha Yara Malak Sheikh. Joseph Michael Sigovich. Aaron Silva. Jack Anthony Sisson. Olivia Smirkanix. Emma Smith. Madeline Raina Smith. Tristan Alexander Smith. Ryan William Snyder. Jack Ryan Stefarak. Julia Michelle Sternthal. Samantha Lee Sullivan. Alexandra Faye Sutton. Ryan Swift. Corvin Brian Sy. Elizabeth Texera. Ryan Patrick Turkelson. Isabella Thomas. Catarina Dos Santos Tiago. Pablo J. Torre. Samantha Victoria Tristine. Anastasia Eileen Sickless. Jacob Urkowicz. Claire Marie Valley. Colin James Valley. Olivia Audrey Vanderhayden. Emily Elizabeth Vanderslice. Eric Matthew Vasquez. Jocelyn Imelda Vasquez. Sean Matthew Velez. Sarah Grace Verastro. Brian Robert Victoria. Kira Vidu. Valerie Vilka. Carlos Javier Miguelan. Logan Antonio Wazalewski. Noah Riley Wazalewski. Layla Alexandra Wasserman. Henry Whalen. Kira Arlene Witkowski. Aiden Cade Zarzaro. Matthew Joseph Sapiri.
My fellow classmates, join me in moving our tassels from the right to the left, signifying our graduation. Congratulations!